Well, if you are participating in the stock market, you're getting absolutely obliterated today. What I want to go through in this video is the devastation. I want to go through why this is happening. There's two core reasons I think a lot of people aren't seeing on why this is going on here today. Third thing we're going to cover, I did buy some stocks today, and I'll share that with you guys. It is absolutely a disaster zone out there in the market here today. NASDAQ down well over 3%. The NASDAQ is now down around 22% from its highs it reached back in November, okay, which puts us well into bear market now on NASDAQ. Russell also in bear market, down 22+% from where it was in November. The Russell today down about 2.4%, so another just awful day for the small cap stocks. Big tech. This was my first watch list I happen to have open when I started looking at stocks today, and I was like, What is going on? Oh my gosh, okay. First thing I saw, Shopify down 6%, Nvidia down 4.6%, AMD down over 5%, Intuit down 4.6%, and then I got to the bottom. Tesla, down over 11%. Over 11%. Now, I want to tell you guys something funny I was thinking about. So, yesterday afternoon, while the market was still open, the Twitter deal was announced, essentially. Elon Musk was buying Twitter. And the first thought that came to my mind is, oh, man, I should cash out of the rest of my Tesla shares right now. Obviously, I couldn't do that move because it would be a very short-term in nature move, right? But the thought did cross my mind, like I should cash out. And the reason being is I knew everybody was going to freak out and start, being like, oh, Elon Musk is going to sell a bunch of his Tesla shares and dump it on the market so he can buy Twitter and things like that. And so, that thought did cross my mind, but I couldn't do that. And I know I would get absolutely destroyed if I made some short-term decision like that where I'm like, oh, I'm going to cash out, But the thought did cross my mind, and it ended up being the right thought, obviously, because that stock's just getting absolutely obliterated here today. Shopify. So I told you guys, how bad this stock is again here today. This stock is now down over 75% since November. 75% since November. This is a major market cap company. This is a 50, even after this drop, it's a $54 billion market cap. Shopify, very famous company, right? And to see a stock like this fall the way it has been nothing short of extraordinary. Absolutely nothing short of extraordinary to see a stock of this kind. But it doesn't end there. Look at this next one. Nvidia we're starting to lose it. We're starting to lose Nvidia now. The stock is now down around 42%, and much of these losses has come basically in the past month. We are starting to lose this baby. And this has been one of the few that has been holding up the market pretty darn well. Not anymore. Look at Netflix. Oh my gosh, guys. I mean, you're talking about one of the most famous companies in all the world. This is now down 71% since November. This is not a small cap stock. This is not a mid cap stock. This is not some company no one ever heard of that's like, oh, what do they do? This is one of the most famous companies in all of the world. And this stock is down 71%. Absolutely incredible fall for Netflix. And we're seeing these type of falls in the Shopify's, Nvidia's, the PayPal's. And, Netflix actually represents some pretty darn good value here, but it still had trouble finding buyers. I've always said with Netflix, $175 to $185, I think that's where value investors start to actually step in and buy Netflix. 200, maybe a little bit, but really 175 range. That's when a lot of the value investors start stepping in. Growth investors want no piece of Netflix, because this is a company that is not growing users right now. Their user base is shrinking, right? And you in this sort of rough market we're in right now, you can't miss anything. You miss anything for your numbers, your stock's going down and you're getting devastated. You have to come in with near perfection. And if you don't, this is what happens to you if you don't come in with near perfection in this sort of market. You're down 71% in less than 7 months. Incredible. AMD. We are starting to lose AMD as well. This stock now from its November's highs is now down almost 47%. The stock has almost been cut in half since then. We're starting to lose this baby. And I told you guys I really worry about Nvidia and AMD, and I really do, especially going into the back half of this year. I'm really worried about those sorts of stocks. Those are pretty big investor stocks, and they also have a lot to do with the confidence of the market. And I'm worried. I'm very, very worried, and they're falling apart already. Adobe. One of the greatest business models in the world. This stock's now down 42%, down another 2.65% here today. We're starting to lose Mr. Softy. Mr. Softy just hit its own bear market, okay? Bear market meaning is down 20+%. Yes, Mr. Softy is now in bear market, and we're starting to lose this baby. Now, we'll see what happens. Their earnings are coming up here pretty darn soon, so we'll see if they can bounce back here, but as of right now, it hasn't looked too pretty. Apple is one of the last things we have holding up this market now. Personally, I want Apple to fall as well, not because I'm actually looking to buy Apple, just I feel like we can't bottom in this market until everything got hit. And for Apple, this is a stock that's still up on a 1-year basis. We need this baby to go down. I'm just going to put it like that. We need this baby to go down. We'll see what happens with their earnings. If they come in with another A+ earnings where you can't say anything bad about anything, the stock's going to go up. If they come in with anything less than an A+ earnings, this stock will fall, and it will fall 5 to 10% the next day. So we'll see what happens with those earnings. Tesla's still holding up well on a 1-year basis. Obviously, the stock's fallen apart recently, but it's still up 25% on a 1-year basis. As a Tesla shareholder, it hurts me to say it, but I think we got to lose Tesla. I think we got to lose this stock, and the stock has to go negative for us to really feel like we bottomed in the market. So we'll see what happens there. Now, my Cathie Wood watch list is awful. I mean, look at this. You got Tesla down 11%, Roku down 8%, Square down 6%, Unity down 6%. These are our top 10 biggest positions in ARK, or some of our biggest positions in ARK, right? And, ARK itself is down almost 6% today. And, I mean, almost all these stocks are down, 50, 60, 70% outside of maybe Tesla. And, from the 2021 highs, I mean, it's just been awful. And it just seems like there's no buyers. That's a thing with these stocks. It just seems like there's nobody on the other side to put any sort of buying pressure. And it seems like the selling pressure is just relentless. And sometimes you're like, who's even selling? You know what I mean? Like, who's even selling these stocks? It could be the investment funds that got into margin calls. It could be individual investors that got into margin calls. It could be funds that have outflows that are desperate, so they need to sell a stock at any price. It could be individual investors that are desperate, right? And inflation's tearing them up and they got to sell at any price. And last group it could be is people that are just, sick of this downtrend and just think it's going to get worse. And they're like, I'm going to take my loss now on Roku at 93 because Roku's going to 63. That's the other group of folks, right? Somebody saying, I've been losing my butt on Square. It's at $100. I think it's going to $70. Let me get out now. I'll buy it back when it's 70. And, obviously that's not a game I try to play because it's just an impossible game to win. But a lot of people do play those, and we got to acknowledge that, right? The retail and trader investor list I have here, just nasty. I mean, you're looking at stocks down anywhere from 11% to the best case scenario is HIMS down here at 2%, right? I mean, just everything. A lot of these stocks, people have big positions in. SoFi is an example of one of those, right? Obviously me with Tattooed Chef, that stock just can't find a bottom anywhere. And it's like, it's no bad news coming out for them or anything. It's just, they can't find a bottom. And that's just the way it is in this market. Look at the hood. The hood's under $10 now. Under $10. That's a stock that's lost, 85% plus of its value. 85% plus of its value. Incredible, some of these falls. My current stocks, everything's, I shouldn't say everything's red. Almost everything's red. My one green stock today is Pfizer, PFE. Outside of that, man, it's awful. Everything from Tesla to Oatly to Beyond to Chef to Corsair to PayPal. It doesn't matter what it is I own. Everything's just getting devastated outside of Pfizer today. Just awful, right? Now, a lot of people are wondering what's going on here. Why are stocks dropping so much? Okay. Well, first thing is you got to understand is there are certain companies the entire stock market looks to, investment fund managers, hedge fund managers, things like that. They look to, and they look at these companies as kind of like, I don't know what you want to call it, bellwethers, or like the sorts of companies that you can get a gauge on how the economy's doing. And if you're feeling confident about the economy, the stock market, things like that, you look to these stocks. And if you're not, you also look to these stocks, right? And so guidance for these sorts of companies ends up becoming very, very important, all right? Now, there's a stock in the market that I don't think is necessarily the best stock to look at if you're feeling confident or unconfident in the company. But this stock has been used as that sort of company for the past 100+ years, okay? And when you had that sort of history, people still look at this stock and try to get a gauge of the entire market. And that is General Electric, all right? General Electric's down about 11% today. They announced earnings right before the bell, essentially, and the stock hit a new 52-week low. And General Electric has been used for the past, 100 years in the stock market by Wall Street to look at this company and kind of gauge how the economy is doing and how business is doing. And so what General Electric just said, GE, they just said that, basically they had cautionary commentary around 22 in their outlook. Okay. It wasn't all, let's call it roses. And so if GE comes out and they say, we're a little worried here, the entire market feels that. And like I said, I think UPS is a way better indicator if you want to know how the economy is doing. And UPS actually came through and held up their 22 guidance. I think UPS is a far better company to look at and gauge how the economy is doing. I think Amazon nowadays is a way better company to understand how the actual economy is doing nowadays. But it's not the way it's been, right? And so to get folks to change their mindset around this, it's very, very difficult. So GE came out disappointed this morning with their guidance. And, like I said, the stock's been used for 100 years in the stock market to really judge how the economy's doing. And they still do it nowadays. And it is what it is. But that's one of the big reasons why obviously stocks are down big today, okay? Now, next reason stocks are down huge here today has to do with Tesla. So Tesla obviously is having an awful day, right? And so I was thinking for a moment, I was thinking about who are some of the other big people in, that I guess you can call my peers or whatever in the YouTube space. And I was thinking about this a little more deeply, right? And I was thinking about folks that get a lot of views on YouTube that are big names also, right? I think about Kevin. I think about Chicken Genius Singapore, who unfortunately left the platform. And then I think about the Steven gentleman from Solving the Money Problem. And what do all three of these gentlemen have in common? All three of those gentlemen have the majority of their net worth tied up in Tesla stock, and they're all very, very open about that. And they have almost, I don't want to say all their portfolios in those stocks, but the far majority of their money is tied up in Tesla stock, essentially. Okay, and so I was thinking about this a little deeper for a moment, and I was thinking about how many more people are like that out there, right? Where they have the majority of their entire portfolio, their net worth tied up into a stock like Tesla. And then I was thinking about it a little deeper level. And I was thinking about how many people, a lot of folks always take it to the next level, right? Which the next level is margining. And it's why just own, let's say, 1,000 Tesla shares when I could own 2,000 Tesla shares and margin out? And so I was thinking about that for a moment, right? And I was thinking about how many people have the majority of their entire net worth tied up into Tesla stock, and how many people likely margin into Tesla stock, right? And obviously it's a situation where when Tesla stock's doing great, and you're almost all in that stock, it's phenomenal, right? But what happens when Tesla stock starts going through some troubles? And as somebody that's a Tesla shareholder and been a Tesla shareholder for many, many years now, Tesla will have some very tough days in terms of that stock price, and it will have some moments where the stock falls 40, 50, 60% in a pretty quick amount of time when business turns and, the numbers just aren't there, right? And the market just goes very, very negative. It's going to have some of those moments. It's not like that stock's only going to go up. It's going to have some very, very tough moments. And in those moments, you're going to have some people that are going to be really caught off sides and are going to be in situations where, they're going to get just absolutely obliterated in the short term, at least, right? And as long as the long term for Tesla works out, things will be fine long term, but you can't deny the fact that over a 6, 12, 18, 24 month span, that stock couldn't just get hit and hit and hit and hit. And it's oh my gosh, does the stock ever go up again? It just gets hit, right? To see Tesla at a $200 or $300 billion market cap is not out of the realm of possibility. And as somebody that's a Tesla shareholder, I understand that. But I don't think most of my other fellow Tesla shareholders do understand that. I think people think that's impossible. That can't happen. No way. And, I'm just telling you, if the economy really went south and orders really dried up for Tesla, that stock's getting absolutely obliterated. And so, in this sort of market, you can have margin calls that are forced on at other positions and even forced onto Tesla, right? Imagine you're heavy on Tesla on margin, and you get a day like today out of nowhere where the stock's down 11%. All of a sudden, next thing you know, you got margin calls. And if you don't have the money to deposit, which more than likely you don't, otherwise you wouldn't be on margin, right? You're selling. and for selling. And then think about the funds, hedge funds. It's not just individual investors that make these sorts of moves. It's the funds as well, right? And Tesla's a huge market cap nowadays. So usually, recently it's been around $1 trillion market cap. When you're talking about $1 trillion market cap, you're talking about a company that, is no longer, the stock price isn't dictated by Main Street anymore. It's not dictated by retail investors or small investors. Folks like I just showed you on your screen there, and folks like myself, we can't control that stock anymore. It's out of our control. Wall Street controls Tesla stock now. And if Wall Street wants to go on a mass sell-off of Tesla stock, there ain't no stopping that. There ain't no stopping that. And so you got to understand that's definitely part of the market. And it's just something I think everybody should consider, or at least think about, because I can tell you there's a lot more than just those three gentlemen that are, have the majority or almost all their entire portfolio tied up in that one stock, right? Now let's talk about some stocks I purchased here today. I bought a few stocks, okay? Obviously first is the Chef. I had to buy some of the Chef. That's just been a devastated stock, obviously. Everybody knows that. PayPal's been absolutely obliterated. I think PayPal represents incredible risk reward here. Honest, I think represents incredible risk reward here. And Oatly's one of the fastest growth companies you'll find out there, with near 50% revenue growth. And so I picked up some shares of Oatly here today. I picked up obviously a food company, a drink company, let's call it a necessities company, right? Diapers, makeup, soap, shampoo, those sorts of things. And then obviously massive payment provider. So, and obviously PayPal owns, not just PayPal, but they also own Venmo. So that's what I picked up. As far as me, the name of the game, I stay disciplined. I would like to see the S&P 500 and the Dow also go into bear market. That would make me feel very, very comfortable in this market. And I would definitely feel like we're much closer to an actual real bottom in the market if we hit bear market on both those. Till then, it feels like we're just in no man's land, and no one likes to be in no man's land. So yeah, anyways, guys, hope you enjoy this as always. If you're looking to join my private stock group, private Discord chat, think about this for a moment, right? Like, wouldn't you like to talk about how you used to make a lot of money in the stock market and you don't make any money and you just lose money now? Well, join my private stock group and try to join the private Discord chat. That's what we talk about all the time. We talk about the good old days when we used to make money every day, and now we just lose money every day. So if you're looking to be around supportive people that will support you while you lose all your money, hey, we're there for you. So check out pinned comment down there. Anyways, guys, much love as always, and have a great day.